Hi everyone. Hi, this is Amar. How are you? I hope you're doing well. This is the. I hope you're following my other video also, which I'm making every day, almost every day. It gets tough to make videos every day. I realize. So I'm trying to keep this 25 days a month. So if 5 days go fucked up and you have no control over schedule, so you can do it at least 25 days a month. So we are on chapter reading happiness in your skin, and we are on chapter number 4. And this chapter is called Success is a False Goal. Success is a false goal. So we had read till here, where I said that it is a difficult choice to make, that if you have to choose between happiness and a success. Success is more socially acceptable. Success is more socially acceptable than and visible than happiness. To prove that you are successful, there are things like a house or a car, etc., which you can show to the world, and the world will happily accept it. However, happiness is intangible. This is the most important difference that you should understand from this video, that people can see success but they cannot see happiness. So the only really judge of your happiness is you, and that is why you're the only person who gets to decide if something makes you happy or not. And that's why you should focus on your happiness, because nobody else can really focus on your happiness because they can't see it. People can't really focus on what they can't see. They can't even feel it. Only you are the only person who can feel your happiness, who can feel if you're happy or not. So you are the only person who's really responsible for your happiness, right? So happiness is intangible. Happiness resides inside our hearts, and therefore we can't prove to anyone if you're happy. More importantly, we don't need to prove to anyone if you're happy. You may see a happy face, but then the next day you hear that the happy face is no more and has committed suicide. Have you heard stories like those? Have you heard any stories like those, that people like Chester Bennington, he was spotted smiling or normal a day or two before he committed suicide? One of my friends is a fan of Chester Bennington, who was the lead singer of the Linkin Park band. My friend traveled from India to Europe to see Chester perform live. He came back and he was deliriously happy. A few months later, Chester Bennington committed suicide because he had been battling depression. Happiness. One second, let me just adjust this. Is this better now? I think this is nice. I'm look in the right frame. He came back and was deliriously happy. A few months later, Chester Bennington committed suicide because he had been battling depression. Happiness, or the lack of it, doesn't show on our faces. It lives in our hearts and within our minds. It makes house in our muscles, and if you will, in our skin. We feel it in every moment. We can't deny how we feel. Choose happiness over success, because when you're alone with yourself by the end of the day, you will have no one else to face but yourself. You may show off your money and things it can buy to the rest of the world, but it'll never buy meaningful happiness. I repeat, money is a source of happiness, but it's only a superficial source of happiness. The happiness and money buys is short-lived and fleeting. We're talking about happiness that you feel in your skin. All your wealth cannot buy it. We're talking about happiness that you feel in your skin, and all of your wealth cannot buy it. There are several reasons why money fails to buy happiness. And the first reason is this: happiness is not a goal. For a lot of people, happiness is not a goal itself. And it's getting cold here. Let me just pull up the zipper because it's cold in Delhi. They believe, it's specifically Gurgaon, it's quite cold. For a lot of people, happiness is not a goal itself. They believe that if one has money and social privilege, doing the things that one craves to do is meaningless. They don't even talk about happiness question. If you are not pursuing happiness, you won't reach it. Sooner or later, we get what we seek. I introduced you to one of my bosses in the initial chapter of the book. I was having a particularly bad day, and as usual, I was wondering about the point of all the work I do since it didn't make me happy. Let's say his name was Prashant. Prashant believed that reproduction was the purpose of life. And Prashant is not alone. Most people think that reproduction is the purpose of life. And being happy wasn't important to him. Therefore, consequently, he made my life horrible. And it didn't matter to him because he believed that I should have also cared about reproduction and not being happy. I've never forgotten that answer. It was one of the dumbest answers I've ever heard in my life. But then I guess most people are like Prashant. They don't believe that happiness is the purpose of life, and that's why they don't seek it. How would someone live his life if he believes that reproduction is the purpose of life? He would finish his studies, get a job, and start a business without thinking she happy all this while, and then find a partner without thinking if the relationship adds to mutual happiness, and produce kids who were born in a world where they meant to grow up and produce kids. Produce kids, they grow up, they produce kids. 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 That's the circle of their life. Nobody's being happy. Everybody's just producing kids. Because to them, reproduction is the purpose of life. You see the problem? Sadly, many people think like Prashant. Let me ask you, what do you think is the purpose of life? You may not agree with Prashant, but I need you to have an answer to this question. I don't want you to email the answer to me, but I want you to answer for yourself. What else could be the purpose of life? Success? Meaning? Beauty? Peace? Maybe, I don't know. If you don't think that happiness is the purpose of life, I don't want to force it down your gut. But you need to have an answer, because whatever you believe is the purpose of life, it'll drive all your actions. We'll explore all these perspectives a little later in the book. My purpose through this book is to ensure that you feel contented, spirited, and excited about life. If you're contented, spirited, and excited about life, I think you're happy. No matter how you phrase it. Let's do another one. Let's do the other reason for... let's do 4.2, which is the second reason for why people are not happy. Social norms are another reason why people are not happy. Social norms like attitude towards female employment affect the happiness of a countless number of women. For example, India, as per a recent study by the World Bank, ranks 120th in a list of 131 nations for the proportion of its women in the workforce. I wrote this book in 2018, I guess, and the number I think hasn't improved at all. The reason for this is not even the lack of education, but social norms which prevent women from participating in the economy. The society wants women to take care of their household, and this impacts their work opportunities. Such a parochial mindset leads to circumstances which forces several women who may want to join the workforce to sit at home. When you can't do what you don't want to do, you feel sad. Sadness is an emotion that arises out of inability because of whatever reasons to do what you really want to do. Sadness arises out of an inability to be who you are. Social norms which don't allow women to work when they want to create an unhappy society. So no society can be happy if its women are not happy. Women, mothers, wives, girlfriends, sisters form the emotional backbone of men in their lives. They can either make or break lives, and they do. This is not the only social hindrance to happiness. One of the key reasons is our desperate desire for people's approval. Log kya kahenge? What will people say? Which literally means what will people say is a common fear, at least in the Indian subcontinent. People are worried what their families, friends, colleagues, and entire world would think about them if they dare to follow their heart. They just don't think what they would think of themselves if they don't dare to follow their heart. Nobody really cares about you. My dear reader, nobody really cares about a damn about your life. Besides people you love. I do, but most people don't. Your family does, and no matter what you do, you need to get them to buy in, ideally. However, there is no guarantee they'll buy in. The reason most students follow courses they don't care about is because their families force them to study socially popular subjects. Engineering is a socially popular subject. Becoming a doctor is a socially popular subject. These are the things which get people respect in society traditionally. However, thankfully, the world is opening up, and society is very painfully and slowly opening up to new careers. And those careers are thankfully getting a bit of respect, but it's a very slow and painful process still. They study socially popular subjects and land in a job which is social acceptance. Most people don't dare to ask themselves what they truly want to do with their lives. What would be an awesome thing to do? What would make them feel that work isn't work? Similarly, most marriages in India are arranged. For readers outside India, let me briefly explain the idea of an arranged marriage. Arranged marriage is India's gift to humankind, where two people meet through mutual connections or matrimonial ties. The important point that you don't meet that person yourself. The entire family of the prospective groom meets the entire family of the prospective bride. If the families like each other, and the couple in question also thinks they can move on under tremendous pressure, obviously, then they can meet a few times under the collective watch of both families with regular reporting. After this long period lasting at most a few months, the couple and the families decide the marriage should be solemnized. The two families decide to marry each other. Two families. After all, log kya kahenge? Love is not for the feeble at heart. Love is not for the feeble at heart. Love is a bold move at any point. It's bold by its very nature. Love is bold because society makes it difficult for all of us to be in love with ourselves, with our partners, and with our work. It doesn't matter what people will say. Those who care about you will support you. Those who don't care about you don't matter. Let me repeat this. Those who care about you will support you. Those who don't care about you don't matter. Make a generous attempt to take into account the views of people who are dear to you, because if they aren't with you, it'll cause a lot of bad blood. Trust me. In any case, go where your heart belongs. Social norms are not biblical truths that must be followed. Question them and follow them if they serve you. If they don't serve you and the larger society, discard them. At one point, sati was a social norm. It was a horrendous practice where the widow would immolate herself on her husband's pyre. It was questioned and it was abolished. Apartheid in South Africa was a horrible set of customs. It is questioned by brave men like Nelson Mandela and abolished. Question everything. Do not accept anything without questioning it. Right? So you see, there are a lot of challenges to happiness. Social norms are a challenge to happiness. What else did we? Happiness is not a goal; is also a challenge to happiness. There are a lot of challenges to happiness. So that's why being happy in this society becomes a rebellious thing to do, which is quite stupid. Because happiness is the purpose of life, and chasing our happiness should not be a rebellious thing to do. It should be an easy thing to do, right? But if it takes to be a rebel to be happy, be a rebel. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm doing more of these videos. I'm really enjoying making these videos, which is great because I can continue making these videos. I feel like I'm talking to somebody's heart. I'm talking to your heart and trying to push you to be happier. And that's why I'm making these videos. So do let me know in comments how do you like them. And if you like them, please share them around. Yeah, heart to heart. That's how those videos are coming. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.